So all of a sudden things are just turning round, and that's not a great shot at all from Xiao Guodong. He's just lost the 5th frame. He's 4-0 up, of course, but Maguire's made a good 75, and you can just see in his body language now, he's just starting to sense, OK, I'm still behind, still second favourite, but the match isn't over yet. And that's the beauty of a sport like snooker. You know, if a football match, if you're 4-0 up with 10 minutes to go, it's over. But snooker, you just stay out there till someone's won, however long it takes.
Yeah, we seen it yesterday with Peter Lines, didn't we? 4-1 behind to Matthew Stevens. As you say, Dave, it can be done.
6.
And strangely enough, most tournaments it seems to happen, doesn't it? There's always one match where there's a big comeback. I think it's often said in this game that intervals do change matches, mainly because, well, they do, don't they? It's a strange thing. But coming out here for this second session, we virtually didn't give Stephen a chance, but you just get the feeling things are maybe going to turn his way.
I remember there was a match once at the Crucible, Ken Doherty, John Higgins, and Ken led 10-0. You think, well, it's over. All of a sudden, it's 10-7, and all Ken can think about, he's still leading, all he can think about now is, if I lose this, I will never forgive myself. He did win in the end, but it's just funny, isn't it, what it does to the mind, this game.
15.
Yeah, well, it sounds simple to say, but I've always said that you're never going to make a good comeback unless you try to. You know, it's easy to give in, but you know, you can go through your career and maybe only have one or two really, you know, good comebacks, but they do happen,
22.
and probably more than you would think.
Well, as you saw, it wasn't ideal, pushed the black to the cushion, did pot it, but the main thing is he's just looking better in himself now, Maguire. The thing about the match with Ken and John, you know, if you'd have said to Ken before the match started, you're going to be 10-7 up after 17 frames, you'd think, great, you know, I'll take that. But it's the fact it was 10-0, and then it was 10-7. That's what did him in, or nearly.
Yeah, that's the psychology of this sport, isn't it? They're probably biting your hand off if you'd offer them 10-7. It's where Xiao Guodong's just got to show patience. I'm sure he won't be panicking just yet. He knows, as I said earlier, he's more than likely to get a few chances. He's got to prepare himself mentally for when they come. Now let's see how Stephen deals with this long red that he's taken on. Not the kind of red he's been knocking in the first part of the match. It's amazing, isn't it? If that was a couple of frames ago, you can be sure he would have left that red on to the middle.
Yes, I think the point you made about the interval is a good one. You know, if they'd just stayed out there, I think it would have been 5-0. But the fact is, the match was stopped. Just a chance to gather some thoughts and to calm down a little bit, if anything, from Maguire's point of view.
Just managed to avoid the in off there, Stephen, but this red is now on. If this goes in, you'd expect it to be a great chance. Big shot this. It wasn't close, was it?
One.
I could that well.
8.
Yeah, he was just a bit straight for comfort on the red, wasn't he? That was unlucky, to be honest. Still on the black. You know he's going to take it on. I think he'll just get a nice half ball cannon on the edge of the pack there as well. You'd fancy him to land in a red, so the pot's all important here. Just little signs, aren't there, that the tide is just about turned. Still a long way back, we have to say. He just looks better, as you said, Dave, doesn't he? Confidence looks restored.
Yes, I'm sure he's thinking, why couldn't I have started the match like this? Because he has left himself a lot to do, but it's not impossible.
That was much better. Cued that very smooth. As I said a few seconds ago, the confidence looks like it's flown back into Stephen Maguire's arms here. The lead stretches to 48.
30.
Plenty of loose reds to go at. Thing is as well, Dave, he's one of those players, Stephen, being a top player, we know that he can do, you know, 6, 7, 8 frames where he just isn't going to miss. He's done it many times. Of course, he only needs to win
39.
This and another 3 frames, but as I say, he can string frames together pretty quickly as well. His mood has certainly changed.
Well, this is meant as a compliment, by the way, before I say this, but I think the Scottish players in general, they have a sort of stubborn streak about them. They don't like it when Looks like the other guy's going to win. We've seen that with Stephen Hendry, Graham Dott, who's on now, John Higgins, and dare I say, your good self. But he won't like that one, will he? That's gone wrong. I don't know whether that was a kick. White just seemed to die.
Yeah, it was a very heavy contact, wasn't it? Just at the point when he was about to put the frame safe. Yeah, I don't. Your point just a few seconds ago. I can't think of any Scottish player that's going to lie down.
Well, it's disappointing for him. He was going well. He had the kick. And that red's come back down the table, and it is on. 64 in front, still 75 on though. So Steve Maguire, well, he's happy to see the yellow on the cushion, you can say that much, but this is a chance for Xiao Guodong to get back into the frame at least.
One.
Oh, that's well played. Now just be opening the other three reds up and potting this one. So if this works out, it could be a good chance. That's exactly what it is.
Well, that yellow now becomes so important, doesn't it? Because that is what Steve Maguire is holding on to.
Oh, that's a good positive shot from Xiao Guodong. Would have been forgiven there for just playing the easy positional shot in the pink, but he's taken the bull by the horns. Developed a red.
Fine. 21.
You see the difference of 37, so plenty of points to play with here, Xiao Guodong. You would think the pink and the last red are a formality, so he'll already be thinking about which way he's going to try and attack this yellow. Yeah, just checking the scoreboard. Just has to, well, first things first here, has to make sure that he finishes on a colour. And just worry about the yellow in a few shots' time.
35.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to shift it from this position on the green. Looks a little straight for comfort. It's just whether he fancies dropping in behind it.
You are kidding. That is incredible. He needed a snooker. If that green hadn't gone in, he needed a snooker. He's fluked it. That's amazing.
Yeah, like I said, he had to just make sure of the colour there. It looked a bit straight to try and shift the yellow. He was just being a bit greedy. What a massive fluke that could turn out to be.
Xiao Guodong.
Well, Stephen will want to see this black go on the cushion. I guess from Stephen's perspective it could have been worse. He could have kicked the yellow out and cleaned up, couldn't he? So still big favourite Stephen Maguire, but this looks like it's a half chance.
Yes, and again now the fact he's not the black safe-ish, that could be a factor. He needs the 6 colours to win.
That was first class. He could have played that 100 times and couldn't have played it any better. You would think brown, blue, pink are a formality. It's all going to be about this black.
Nice.
Maguire was unlucky. He got that kick when he was in, and he was going really well at that point.
14.
Now, has he gone too straight in the pink? No, I think he's just got an angle. He can maybe force stun follow through it across for the black. Wants to get close to this black ball. Oh, that's not going to be easy. It's match ball though.
Well, how many of these would you pot out of 10? I wonder. He needs this one to go through to round 2. Caught the cushion. He was never going to go in.
Xiao Guodong, 20.
Not easy.
Yeah, I think a little bit of justice there without being biased. As you say, Stephen Maguire was a bit unlucky a couple of times there.
And he's grateful
7 and 20.
that the black goes in, and he's still in there fighting a dramatic frame, and it's turning into a dramatic match. Xiao Guodong now leads Steve Maguire 4-2.